Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, on occasions to occasions, let's just purely talk about briefly about the introductions. Here we have introduction seeds, which says which year did you migrate to Canada? Roughly, the question may answers that was 2004, and then I was received by a cross-cultural learning center. That is IOM sent, and then 2004. 100% I'm a Sudanese, I may say so. That is a Sudanese, Ugandan, and by education and by addition by childhood, okay, and then because my parents they are all in Uganda, and then Kenyan also as a workplace assistant. So I'm offering works there in Kenya, and then partially I become also a Kenyan. Okay, so I become a Kenyan and enroll myself with the till I enroll myself with the IOM Kenya, and then we built the relationship with the IOM, and then by IOM, and then they sent me to Canada around that year. So, and then what about Canada itself? So, being a Canadian, that was 2004, and then since 2004, I enrolled and then become a Canadian. Also, here, a Canadian businessman here. That is what I do here. And then I'm typically the ancestors. I have one ancestors from Sudan as a Sudanese, 100%. 100% Ugandan ancestors too, and then that is Ugandan Madi, and then Madi Sudan, and then which they call themselves Equatorians, either you name it or Bari or which one, that is Madi, and then by ancestors, whatever you call it Wani, then you will find Wani ancestors both in Uganda and Sudan. When you go to Kenya, you will find this is Wani, Kenya, Wani, Sudan. Equatorians, you will see them in Kenya, you will see them in Sudan as ancestors three. On overview to Canada, that is based on immigrations, which is ancestors by IOMP. Okay, if it comes to immigration to Canada, that is ancestors by IOMP as a Canadian. So personally, they call me Wani James, also original Ugandan, and then by Kenyan as original as a businessman. And as a Canadian businessman, they call me by name Wayne Hassan as is it on. And then Hassan is Hassan as a lawyer. My case is to do a lawyer as Hassan, and then Ziziton as a bank. Ziz as a bank, so as the rest of the bank. And then if it come to wine is a warehouse, and then we normally deal with the different varieties of issues, varieties of sales. So that is basically wine, and that is basically my names, and then which deals and which covers all the business areas that we tackle here. And if you look on the back of these seats right there, you can see that is Wani, and then the ancestors right there. Those are all ancestors. We have quite a lot of ancestors. If we talk of ancestors, ancestors are the people that are far learned more, and then that are able to give you a quick introductions or a quick overview of who you could be, and then who have at least a right to tell you this is how to be and this is how to do. That can feed your mouth, and that can make you sleep, and that can make you be happy wherever you belong. And they are called ancestors. If we talk of that ancestor in terms, that is like a company. So if we talk of ancestors, that could be a tribe you come from, or where you are born, or a company that you work for. And then that is how ancestors is all about. That is quite the introduction of that sections there. So if you don't know about Uganda, we are describing here and talking about for the safety of me and then you, and then you should know that this is Uganda. Okay, this is the map of Uganda, And then where we write a lot of things down there, white things there, that is the areas occupied by Equatorians, the Sudanese Equatorians. And the yellow areas you're seeing there, that is the end of Sudan, down there to Uganda, that joined Uganda, that joined DRC, and then that joined Central Africa, and that joined Kenya, and then that joined Ethiopia. Ethiopia is right there on over the head of Kenya. Kenya is written right there, DRC is right there, and then Central Africa is at the other end right there. Does this shit to do with Uganda? Okay, and then Uganda can be found where in the African map. How is the new Sudan look like from apart from South Sudan fake map? South Sudan fake. So if South Sudan does is a fake, if you compare to the Sudan map, as if the guy did not go to school for the forever, okay, forever, did not been to school, no school learned there. So and if you look right there, this is Sudan, the new map of Sudan, okay. So including all the Sudan tribes, and those tribes they are listed right there, and then that is an overview of those tribes. And then where can this one does it say that is also Sudan right there, and then where can we found Sudan? Sudan can be African can be found on the world map. If you look on the world map, that is world map. Canada is somewhere right there. Europe is right there. Asia is right there. Africa is right there. Brazil is right there. Australia is right there. And then that is how that you can find. And then if you want, that is world map right there. And then we put you Sudan. The yellow line we put right there, that is Sudan. Can indicate that is Sudan. Okay, and then everything we not hide right there is all right there, and if it will goes like that, that's how it looks. Okay, that is briefly about those areas. And if what else, this is just Sudan, we are talking about Sudan, and then we put just Sudan right there, and yellow over the world map right there is found on the world map. Whatever we put it like that, it's just there alone Sudan. So if it is like this in African map, if you see African map, that is African map is yellow, is 7th right there. Okay, and then Uganda is right there. We have no worry. That's how Uganda itself look like. Okay, and then with all the zoom. So that is overview here, and then the overview there. Okay, that is typically covering Sudan majorly. Okay, and then the Uganda, and then Sudan. We have quite various areas that has been illustrated. So the worry is right there. If this white area you are seeing that we designed white, we want you to see it very far away. Okay, we want you to see it very far away. Doesn't mean we constructed a water boat here in Sudan. No. Okay, that is to make people look at the Sudan very far away. Okay, we leave it blank like that for that purpose, because it's a new map which is coming to the world map. That's why we designed it white like that, white background like that. But if you look here, we have a yellow, we have a black, we have any color designed differently, green to any color. Okay, so we have even with this color here all the same, but we put it like that so that people will take a first look on it and then compare if that is what they're gonna need in for the future. So that is overview, basic areas that covers these conversations here we are handling. So otherwise, those are all the areas you are seeing here. That's all the design. We have the copyright policies for Sudan. Okay, the copyright policies basis. So, and for the treble, and those are traps, we have initial traps in those areas and in those criteria. Otherwise, vis-a-vis, so you can see here we have quite a list of areas, and then list of areas. Those are areas where the refugees normally live, and then you can see there UN is right there. This UN which we put right there is right there. Okay, the areas we are talking about is right there in Uganda. That is how the whole areas look like. And then if you look, we have the tribes, the list of the tribes here that come from the yellow areas that we show you, and then the list of the Dingas tribes, and then the list of the Equatorian tribes. They're all right there. And then we have some areas which has a lot of writing here, and thus is quite descriptions of those regards. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, that is quite overview to say that we are able with those ones. Otherwise, if we look forward to this the rest of these other areas, that is to say it, this is quite basic here that we have and we handles. Otherwise, let's see here what we have and what we got. So that is how it looks. Okay, so whatever we zoom it, this is briefly about that one there. We changes, you can see the colors is changing like that. That is the color right there. This is the color right there, and that is how it looks. So that is basically to do with the students. So I guess everybody is aware of that, and then we are together in this. So let's just leave it right there at the moment, and then so quite a bit right there. That's this one here, this line here, which we just chatted, and then I can briefly tell you that where I come from, and then how I live here, and then how those people should do. The people who are also there should do. If they cannot do, and then that means we are time wasters. We're wasting Sudan resources, and they're wasting Sudan resources. So that is like typically we are not doing the copyright, and then as if nobody has gone to schools, and as if we are attacking people without the evidence. It needs a clear evidence. You need to have those tools. You need to have those resources. You need to have those equipments, and if you have the equipments and then you know how to use them, and then of course you will be able to dilemma this South Sudan. You'll be able to accuse South Sudan if you don't have the heads working well, if your head is blocked, and if you are not you are really different, you are really miserable, you are really lacking all those resources, basics, and then of course it will be very hard for you to be able to accuse the so-called South Sudan, and then so that they will be able to leave their nonsenses and then grant the right copyright which is has and which is sealed. This Sudan matters as an SDF managed, and then should be SDF managed or a UPDF managed or a KDF managed, because you are Equatorians and you live in the KDF regions and you live in the UPDF regions. If you come from SDF regions and then you are crossing now to the UPDF, and then how will you be able to move? You for you to behave well, for you to be good there, you need to have the resources which is right there. We provided for you on social media, and then you are one of the Facebooks, and then you have those resources printed out, and then you use it as an evidence for you, and then whatever you have a conversation with one of those tribes listed there, and then you will be able to defend yourself, and then you will be able to be accused no further, and then you will be able to be standing firm. Whatever to the UPDF, whatever to the KDF, they will see you have evidence. Yeah, that is your work. And if whatever is irrelevant, this is what we have right there. You defend yourself. You are available. You wait for them for their collapse. If they cannot collapse, that is you who have they collapsed. And then you already got your backup, and then you can wait, and then you eat your own kind of life. You make it and available, and until you want it. That's how we can conclude this, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, as we said, let's try this liquor here, as it just which we show you how they can work. So that is really liquor, so it's not good. This one is also beer, so it's not good. It's really totally concentrated. It's not really good. It's like really alcohol. I thought this could be like juice, is because it's wine, is like vinegar. Never, it's not even never too good. So let's just say it. Let's just conclude. This is the end of this meeting here, because I'm not an alcoholic, but for I do whatever I do. Alcohol is like one times, not too much, and then that is all we have. And then I've been on liquid for many years, and then I don't care about it because of the juice issues. That's all we have. And then otherwise, if you look here, this is just ordinarily things I'm not even be able to consume it. It may relay there. If it need food, maybe, I don't know. You can eat with the food, I don't know. So it's really not even tasteful. I not even taste yesterday. I put it in the freezer. And when I taste it, it doesn't even work good. And you can see this one is still sealed even here. I just opened them right now and then try them. Then that's all it is. So if you want, you have a taste of it, and then that's all. Otherwise, by me, wine has does this at home.